Have you ever imagined that the first perfume in history wasn't created in Paris, but by our ancestors tens of thousands of years ago? While we often associate the birth of perfumery with the elegant boulevards of France, the true origins of fragrance lie in the primitive caves and ancient campsites where our forebears first discovered the magical properties of aromatic plants. In those early days, when humanity was still learning to master fire and craft tools, our ancestors were already developing sophisticated methods to extract scents from the natural world around them. These early perfumers weren't driven by luxury or fashion, but by something far more fundamental: survival and spiritual connection. They discovered that certain plants could heal wounds, ward off dangerous predators, and even alter consciousness during sacred rituals. Through countless generations of trial and error, they learned which flowers, leaves, and resins could yield the most potent aromas, developing techniques that would lay the foundation for modern perfumery. In the shadowy recesses of prehistoric caves, amid the flickering light of ancient fires, our ancestors burned aromatic herbs and resins, filling their dwellings with sacred smoke that they believed could carry their prayers to the spirit world. They discovered that crushing certain leaves would release powerful scents that could mask their human odor during hunts. They learned that some fragrant plants could preserve food, while others could heal ailments or repel insects. What's truly remarkable is how many aromatic secrets from prehistory remain locked away in the archaeological record, waiting to be discovered. Every new excavation has the potential to reveal ancient vessels that once held precious scented oils, or ritual sites where aromatic ceremonies were performed. These discoveries continue to challenge our understanding of just how sophisticated our ancestors' knowledge of natural fragrances really was. The story of prehistoric perfumery is a testament to human ingenuity and our enduring connection to the natural world. It reminds us that long before the first luxury perfume houses opened their doors, our species had already mastered the art of working with nature's most intoxicating scents. What other aromatic secrets might prehistory still be keeping from us? What ancient knowledge of plants and their properties might we rediscover in the depths of unexplored caves or in the remnants of prehistoric settlements? Before we dive deeper into this fascinating journey through prehistory, take a moment to like this video and subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind channel for more incredible stories about our ancestors and their remarkable discoveries. Together, we'll uncover the hidden chapters of humanity's earliest innovations and the timeless wisdom they contain. The story of fragrances is intimately woven into the tapestry of human evolution, dating back to our earliest ancestors' first steps as conscious beings. When our prehistoric forebears began to explore their environment with growing awareness, they discovered that the world was rich with aromatic plants that would fundamentally shape their survival and development as a species. This journey of aromatic discovery began in Africa's savannas and forests, where early humans learned to distinguish between beneficial and harmful plants through their scents. This olfactory education was quite literally a matter of life and death. The ability to identify toxic plants through their distinctive aromas could mean the difference between survival and fatal poisoning. Through countless generations of trial and error, our ancestors accumulated a vast repository of knowledge about the natural world's aromatic properties. The relationship between humans and aromatic plants grew increasingly sophisticated as our species evolved. Early humans discovered that certain plants could help preserve food, while others could repel dangerous predators or harmful insects. They learned that some aromatic herbs could help heal wounds and ease various ailments, laying the groundwork for what would eventually become traditional medicine. This knowledge became so crucial that it was carefully preserved and passed down through generations, often through complex oral traditions and practical demonstrations. As human communities began to spread across different continents and climate zones, they encountered new varieties of aromatic plants, each with its own unique properties and potential uses. This diversification of knowledge led to the development of distinct regional traditions in the use of aromatic plants, creating a rich mosaic of practices that would eventually influence modern perfumery and herbal medicine. Archaeological evidence suggests that by the time humans began forming settled communities, they had already developed sophisticated systems for collecting, processing, and storing aromatic plants. The discovery of ancient vessels containing residues of aromatic oils and resins provides compelling evidence that our ancestors were actively working with these materials as far back as 7,000 years ago, if not earlier. The significance of aromatic plants extended far beyond their practical applications. As human consciousness evolved and early spiritual beliefs began to take shape, certain scents became associated with religious and ceremonial practices. The burning of aromatic resins and woods became a universal practice across ancient cultures, believed to create a bridge between the physical and spiritual worlds. This spiritual dimension of fragrance would continue to influence human culture for millennia to come. Perhaps most remarkably, many of the aromatic plants that our ancestors first identified as beneficial continue to be valued today. Modern scientific research frequently validates traditional knowledge about the therapeutic properties of various aromatic plants, demonstrating the remarkable accuracy of our ancestors' observations and the enduring relevance of their discoveries. This historical context reveals that our relationship with aromatic plants is not merely a matter of pleasure or luxury, but a fundamental aspect of human evolution and survival. The knowledge accumulated over countless generations of human experience with these plants has shaped our species' development and continues to influence our understanding of the natural world today. In the misty dawn of human civilization, certain individuals emerged as the keepers of ancient aromatic wisdom. Picture a prehistoric healer, her calloused hands moving with practiced precision through the morning dew, gathering specific plants at exactly the right moment when their aromatic properties are at their peak. Her intimate knowledge of the natural world, passed down through generations and enhanced by her own experiences, made her one of the most valuable members of her prehistoric community. This wise woman would have been able to recognize hundreds of different plants by their appearance, scent, and growth patterns. She knew precisely when each flower bloomed, which roots were best harvested under the full moon, and which leaves needed to be dried in the shade rather than direct sunlight to preserve their precious aromatic compounds. Her knowledge wasn't simply about identifying plants. It extended to understanding the complex relationships between different species, the cycles of seasons, and the subtle changes in weather that might affect their properties. As the tribe's master of aromatics, she held multiple crucial roles. She was part doctor, using aromatic plants to treat everything from wounds and fevers to childbirth complications. Certain plants would be crushed and applied directly to injuries, while others would be burned to create therapeutic smoke or steeped in fats to make healing balms. Her understanding of dosage and combination was crucial. Too much of certain plants could be fatal, while too little might prove ineffective. She was also part spiritual leader, knowing which aromatic substances could alter consciousness for religious ceremonies and which scents would please the spirits. During ritual gatherings, she would burn specific combinations of herbs and resins, creating sacred smoke that was believed to carry prayers to the ancestors and deities. The aromatic fumes from these ceremonies would fill the caves and gathering places, creating an atmosphere of otherworldly connection. Beyond her roles as healer and spiritual guide, she was also a teacher. The responsibility of passing on this vital knowledge required her to carefully select and train apprentices. These chosen few would spend years learning to identify plants, understand their properties, and master the various techniques for extracting and preserving their aromatic essences. This teaching wasn't just about memorizing information. It was about developing an intuitive understanding of the natural world and humanity's place within it. Her position in the tribe reflected the immense value of her knowledge. Archaeological evidence suggests that these early aromatics experts were highly respected members of their communities. They often received special treatment, as indicated by burial sites where healing practitioners were interred with their precious herbs and aromatic tools. Their graves sometimes contained special vessels for storing aromatic substances and tools for processing plants, suggesting the importance of their role continued even into the afterlife. The legacy of these prehistoric aromatics masters lives on in the traditional healers and herbalists of indigenous cultures around the world. Many of their ancient techniques for working with aromatic plants have proven remarkably effective, with modern science now validating what these early practitioners learned through generations of careful observation and experience. Their deep understanding of the relationship between humans and aromatic plants laid the foundation for all future developments in perfumery, medicine, and spiritual practice. These early specialists were more than just collectors of plants. They were the original chemists, doctors, and spiritual leaders of their communities. Their ability to harness the power of natural aromas for healing, spiritual connection, and everyday well-being made them indispensable members of prehistoric society, and their knowledge continues to influence how we understand and use aromatic substances today. The technological advancements made by our prehistoric ancestors in the realm of fragrance extraction and preservation were far more sophisticated than many might imagine. These early innovators developed a remarkable array of techniques that would lay the groundwork for modern perfumery, demonstrating an impressive understanding of natural processes and chemical reactions, even without formal scientific knowledge. One of their most ingenious discoveries was the process of enfleurage, the art of capturing delicate flower essences using animal fats. They discovered that fatty substances had a unique ability to absorb and hold aromatic compounds. By spreading animal fat on flat stones or specially prepared surfaces, then laying fresh flowers on top, they could create primitive but effective perfumed unguents. The fats would slowly absorb the precious aromatic molecules from the flowers, which could then be stored for extended periods. This technique was particularly revolutionary because it allowed them to preserve the ephemeral scents of flowers that would otherwise quickly fade. The use of solar heat for fragrance extraction represented another breakthrough in prehistoric aromatic technology. Our ancestors observed that certain plants released more intense aromas when warmed by the sun. They learned to harness this natural process by carefully timing their harvesting and processing activities with solar cycles. Plants would be gathered in the early morning when their essential oils were most concentrated, then strategically exposed to sunlight to intensify their aromatic properties. This method was particularly effective with herbs and resins, which would release their volatile compounds more readily under controlled heat exposure. The discovery of natural fermentation marked another crucial advancement in prehistoric fragrance technology. Through careful observation, our ancestors noticed that certain plants developed new and interesting aromatic properties when allowed to undergo controlled decomposition. This process not only created new scents, but also helped preserve and transform existing ones. They learned to manage these fermentation processes by controlling exposure to air, moisture, and temperature, creating complex aromatic compounds that would have been impossible to achieve through simple extraction alone. Perhaps most impressive was their development of complex blending techniques. Early humans discovered that combining different aromatic materials could create entirely new scents, ones that didn't exist in nature. They learned that certain combinations of herbs and flowers could produce synergistic effects, where the resulting aroma was more powerful or pleasing than any of the individual components. This understanding of blending led to the creation of sophisticated aromatic preparations used in medicine, spiritual ceremonies, and early forms of perfumery. They also developed various methods for storing and preserving their aromatic creations. Archaeological evidence suggests they used specially prepared containers made from clay, wood, and even hollow bones to store their precious aromatic substances. These containers were often sealed with wax or resin to prevent evaporation and contamination, showing an advanced understanding of preservation techniques. Another significant technological advancement was the development of primitive distillation methods. While not as refined as modern techniques, our ancestors discovered that heating certain plants and capturing the resulting steam could concentrate their aromatic properties. This early understanding of vapor capture would eventually evolve into the sophisticated distillation processes we use today. The impact of these prehistoric technological innovations continues to resonate in modern perfumery. Many of the basic principles they discovered, the use of fatty substances as fixatives, the importance of heat in extraction, the power of fermentation to transform scents, and the art of blending, remain fundamental to contemporary fragrance creation. If you're fascinated by these ancestral discoveries, we'd love to hear from you. Leave a like and share in the comments. What natural aroma do you find most appealing? Your favorite scent might have a direct connection to the aromatic preferences of our prehistoric ancestors. The natural fragrances that attract us today could be the same ones that captivated our forebears thousands of years ago, creating an aromatic bridge across millennia of human history. The pursuit of aromatic plants in prehistoric times was fraught with extraordinary challenges that tested human ingenuity and courage. Our ancestors faced numerous obstacles in their quest to obtain and preserve these precious botanical resources, leading to remarkable innovations that would shape early human civilization. The search for specific aromatic plants often required prehistoric groups to venture far beyond their familiar territories. These expeditions were inherently dangerous, forcing them to navigate through predator-filled landscapes, cross treacherous terrains, and brave extreme weather conditions. Some highly prized aromatic species only grew in specific ecological niches, perhaps on steep mountainsides, in deep forests, or near volatile volcanic regions. The risks were considerable. Encounters with hostile tribes, dangerous animals, or deadly weather could spell disaster for these early botanical explorers. This geographical specificity of certain aromatic plants led to one of humanity's most significant developments: the establishment of primitive trade routes. When valuable plants could only be found in particular regions, groups began to develop systems of exchange with neighboring tribes. These early trade networks would eventually evolve into the famous spice routes of antiquity. Archaeological evidence suggests that aromatic materials were among the first commodities to be traded over long distances, predating even metalwork and precious stones. Storage and preservation presented another set of formidable challenges. Having risked life and limb to obtain precious aromatic materials, our ancestors faced the equally daunting task of maintaining their potency over time. The volatile nature of aromatic compounds meant they could easily deteriorate or evaporate if not properly stored. This led to innovative solutions in container design and storage methods. They discovered that certain types of clay vessels, when properly sealed, could maintain fragrances better than others. They learned to line containers with specific materials, animal fats, beeswax, or certain types of leaves, to better preserve aromatic properties. Some groups developed sophisticated methods of wrapping aromatic materials in layers of protective leaves or bark, creating natural barrier packaging that would help preserve the precious scents. The seasonal nature of many aromatic plants presented another significant challenge. Many species were only available for harvest during specific times of the year, requiring careful planning and precise timing. This led to the development of early calendars and timing systems based on natural cycles, as groups needed to track when certain plants would be available for collection. Transportation of aromatic materials posed its own unique set of problems. Many fragrant substances were delicate and could lose their potency if roughly handled or exposed to extreme conditions during transport. Our ancestors had to develop specialized carrying techniques and containers that would protect these precious materials during long journeys across difficult terrain. The challenge of knowledge preservation was equally crucial. Understanding which plants were valuable, where to find them, how to harvest them properly, and how to process them required extensive expertise that needed to be accurately passed down through generations. This led to the development of sophisticated oral traditions and teaching methods, as well as early forms of symbolic communication to record this vital information. Climate change and environmental fluctuations presented additional challenges. As temperatures and rainfall patterns shifted over generations, traditional gathering grounds might become less productive or even disappear entirely. This required groups to be adaptable and to constantly explore new territories in search of alternative sources for their aromatic materials. Perhaps most challenging was the process of experimentation itself. Determining which plants were safe to use and which were dangerous required careful trial and error over many generations. This knowledge was often gained at a great cost, as some plants that smelled pleasant could be deadly toxic. The survivors of these early experiments passed their hard-won knowledge down through generations, creating a growing body of botanical wisdom that would become invaluable to future civilizations. These challenges, while daunting, ultimately drove innovation and human development. The solutions our ancestors developed to overcome these obstacles laid the groundwork for many aspects of modern civilization, from international trade networks to sophisticated storage technologies, from botanical knowledge to the principles of conservation and sustainable harvesting that we're still building upon today. The lessons learned by our prehistoric ancestors about aromatic plants and their uses continue to resonate powerfully in our modern world, offering vital insights for contemporary perfumery and our broader relationship with nature. Their ancient wisdom, gained through millennia of observation and experimentation, remains remarkably relevant today. Our ancestors developed a profound understanding of sustainable harvesting practices. They knew that over-harvesting aromatic plants could lead to their disappearance from an area, potentially depriving future generations of these valuable resources. This ancestral wisdom is particularly pertinent today as we face challenges of biodiversity loss and environmental degradation. Modern perfume houses are increasingly adopting sustainable harvesting techniques that mirror these ancient practices, ensuring the preservation of precious aromatic species for future generations. The prehistoric understanding of seasonal rhythms and plant cycles offers crucial lessons for modern botanical industries. Our ancestors knew exactly when to harvest each plant to obtain optimal aromatic properties, knowledge that scientific research has now validated. For instance, they understood that certain flowers release their strongest fragrances at dawn, a fact that premium perfume manufacturers still consider when harvesting precious floral ingredients. Many of the plants our ancestors identified as aromatically significant remain cornerstone ingredients in modern perfumery. Frankincense, myrrh, rose, jasmine, and sandalwood, all discovered and used by our prehistoric forebears, continue to be among the most valued ingredients in contemporary fragrance creation. Their intuitive understanding of these plants' aromatic qualities has been repeatedly confirmed by modern chemical analysis. The ancient practice of combining different aromatic materials to create complex scent profiles laid the foundation for modern perfume composition. Today's perfumers still follow similar principles when creating layered fragrances, building on the fundamental understanding that certain scents complement and enhance each other, a discovery first made by our prehistoric ancestors. Their methods of extraction, while primitive by today's standards, demonstrated a sophisticated understanding of how to preserve and capture volatile aromatic compounds. Modern techniques like enfleurage and maceration are really just refined versions of processes first developed in prehistoric times. Even some of the most advanced contemporary extraction methods still follow principles first observed by our ancestors. The prehistoric recognition of the connection between scent and well-being has found new validation in modern aromatherapy and neuroscience. Research now confirms what our ancestors knew intuitively, that certain plant aromas can influence mood, reduce stress, and promote healing. This ancient understanding of the therapeutic properties of aromatic plants is driving a renaissance in natural perfumery and aromatic medicine. Our ancestors' holistic approach to working with aromatic plants, understanding their ecological context, growth patterns, and relationships with other species, offers valuable lessons for modern sustainability practices. Their recognition that plants exist within complex ecological networks mirrors current environmental science and suggests approaches for contemporary conservation efforts. Their careful methods of knowledge preservation and transmission, teaching apprentices through direct experience and careful observation, remain relevant to modern training in natural perfumery. Many contemporary artisanal perfumers are returning to these traditional methods of learning, recognizing that some aspects of working with natural materials can only be properly understood through hands-on experience. Perhaps most importantly, our ancestors' profound respect for the natural world and its aromatic treasures provides a model for our own relationship with nature. As we face global environmental challenges, their understanding of the need to work in harmony with natural systems, rather than attempting to dominate them, becomes increasingly relevant. The rediscovery of these ancient practices is driving innovation in modern natural perfumery. Many contemporary perfume houses are now combining traditional wisdom with modern science, creating new sustainable approaches to fragrance creation that honor our ancestral heritage while embracing technological advances. These lessons from the past remind us that in many ways, our ancestors were more sophisticated than we sometimes assume. Their intimate understanding of aromatic plants and sustainable practices offers valuable guidance as we work to create a more environmentally conscious approach to perfumery and our broader relationship with the natural world. In the fascinating world of ancient perfumery, archaeological discoveries continue to reveal remarkable connections between our past and present. Let's explore some extraordinary findings that bridge thousands of years of aromatic history. Did you know that archaeologists have discovered ceramic vessels containing aromatic oil residues dating back more than 4,000 years? These ancient containers, unearthed at various archaeological sites across the Middle East and Mediterranean regions, provide tangible evidence of humanity's long-standing relationship with fragrance. Chemical analysis of these residues has revealed the presence of complex botanical compounds, suggesting that our ancestors had already mastered sophisticated extraction techniques millennia ago. Even more intriguing is the fact that some of today's most expensive and prestigious perfumes still employ extraction methods remarkably similar to those used in prehistoric times. For instance, the traditional technique of enfleurage, where fresh flowers are pressed into pure fat to capture their fragrant molecules, remains in use for extracting the most delicate floral scents. Some of the world's most expensive jasmine, and rose absolutes are still produced using variations of this ancient method. Archaeological evidence has also revealed that prehistoric perfumers were already creating complex blends of different aromatic materials. Analysis of residues found in ancient Egyptian tombs has shown that they were combining multiple ingredients, resins, oils, and floral materials, in sophisticated formulations that wouldn't seem out of place in a modern perfumer's palette. Here's another fascinating discovery. Some of the earliest known perfume bottles, dating back to around 1850 BCE, were found in Mesopotamia. These vessels were specially designed with narrow necks to prevent excessive evaporation of precious aromatic oils, a design principle still used in modern perfume bottles. The preservation of scents was so important to ancient civilizations that they developed elaborate storage systems. Archaeologists have found evidence of complex storage facilities in ancient sites, with specially designed rooms maintaining constant cool temperatures to preserve aromatic materials, an early version of modern temperature-controlled perfume warehouses. Perhaps most remarkably, some of the most valuable perfume ingredients today, such as frankincense, myrrh, and certain varieties of rose, are harvested from the same regions and using similar techniques as they were thousands of years ago. These ancient aromatic traditions have survived virtually unchanged through millennia. Recent archaeological findings have also revealed that prehistoric communities were already engaging in long-distance trade of aromatic materials. Residue analysis of vessels found in archaeological sites thousands of miles from the natural habitat of certain aromatic plants proves that extensive trade networks existed for these precious materials as far back as 5,000 years ago. Furthermore, chemical analysis of ancient perfume residues has shown that our ancestors had already discovered ways to fix and stabilize volatile scents, a fundamental challenge in modern perfumery. They used natural fixatives like resins and animal products, many of which are still considered highly effective today. These archaeological discoveries not only demonstrate the impressive technological achievements of our ancestors, but also highlight how many of their innovations continue to influence modern perfumery. The next time you encounter an expensive perfume utilizing traditional extraction methods or natural fixatives, remember that you're experiencing a craft that has remained essentially unchanged for thousands of years. The continuity between ancient and modern perfumery practices serves as a testament to the ingenuity of our ancestors and reminds us that sometimes the old ways are still the best ways. Their deep understanding of aromatic materials and extraction techniques, gained through generations of experience and observation, continues to inform and inspire the world of contemporary perfumery. The next time you pause to inhale the sweet fragrance of a blooming flower or crush an aromatic herb between your fingers, remember that you're engaging in one of humanity's oldest sensory experiences. This simple act connects you directly to our prehistoric ancestors who, tens of thousands of years ago, first discovered and appreciated these same natural scents that continue to captivate us today. Our journey through the prehistoric origins of perfumery reveals a remarkable story of human innovation, spiritual connection, and survival. From those first prehistoric healers who learned to harness the power of aromatic plants, to the establishment of ancient trade routes that would connect distant civilizations, the story of fragrance is deeply intertwined with the story of human civilization itself. This aromatic heritage surrounds us every day, though we rarely pause to consider it. It lives in the essential oils we use for relaxation, in the incense burned in places of worship, and in the sophisticated perfumes that grace our skin. Each of these modern applications builds upon the foundation laid by our ancestors, who through careful observation and experimentation unlocked the secrets of the natural world's aromatic treasures. Their legacy teaches us valuable lessons about sustainability, respect for nature, and the power of traditional knowledge. In an age of synthetic fragrances and mass production, their wisdom reminds us of the profound connection between humans and the natural world. The ancient understanding that certain scents can heal, uplift, and transform consciousness is now being validated by modern science, proving that our ancestors' intuitive knowledge was far more sophisticated than we once assumed. As we've discovered throughout this exploration, many of the techniques and materials first used by prehistoric perfumers remain relevant and valuable today. This continuity across millennia speaks to the timeless nature of our relationship with aromatic substances and the enduring wisdom of our ancestors' discoveries. The story of prehistoric perfumery is far from complete. Archaeological discoveries continue to reveal new insights into how our ancestors worked with and understood aromatic materials. Each finding adds another piece to this fascinating puzzle, helping us better understand not just our past, but also our present relationship with the world of scent. If this journey through the origins of perfumery has captured your imagination, there's so much more to explore. Join us at the dawn of humankind for more captivating episodes about our ancestors' remarkable discoveries. By subscribing to our channel and clicking the notification bell, you'll ensure you don't miss any of our upcoming explorations into humanity's fascinating past. Each story helps us better understand who we are and where we came from. Remember, every breath of fragrant air connects us to this rich heritage, linking us to countless generations who came before us and discovered the magical world of natural aromas. Don't forget to subscribe to the Dawn of Humankind and turn on notifications to join us on more fascinating journeys into our shared past. Together, we'll continue to uncover the remarkable stories of human innovation and discovery that have shaped our world.